right. So this is Tammy, and I wanted to just come on. Let me get some light. All right, that's better. My natural light was not doing the trick. This is Tammy Morrison, and I'm here wanting to just come on and talk about life. When life be lifing. What is it that you want to do? And so I'm going to share a little bit about some of the things that I have been through and how I navigated it, because there are so many people I know out here in the world going through so much stuff. Life just be lifing. Sometimes life tries to send you on a shame spiral. So you're going through, especially when you start making transitions and when you start stepping into your destiny, your purpose, moving beyond just the normal stuff that happens in life. And so sometimes when you start that, there are people in your life that will begin to try to remind you of who you used to be. You are making changes, you are transitioning into another, whole human being, another energy, another spirit, and people in your life sometimes will remind you, that, oh, you was that person that used to do this, or you was that person that used to, go out all the time, or you was that person that used to drink a lot, or you was that person that used to whatever, so many things, that people will try to remind you. And so what I want to say today is, don't allow anyone to take you back to where you used to be, especially when you are in a space of transitioning. I I have seen this so many times. I have spoken with clients that have shared these kind of things with me, and it's like, okay, so people don't believe that you can change. Because one thing about life is what you make it. You create your own life. And I'm not talking about like in a woo-woo type of way, or, you know, um, I do believe in the law of attraction, and I know that we attract, what it is that we desire, and what we put out, we get back. I understand all of that. So I wanted to just really um, come on here and just share about that, because I know that if it's something that I have dealt with, and many, many people have dealt with it, I am not an island. And so, life is just what you make it. So you can actually change your life. You can create, the space that you want to be in. You can make your life better than what you feel like it is now. And so, um, how I do it is I take some time every single day to connect with spirit. Now, for me, I like to do it in the morning before I get out of bed, and I like to do it at night before I go to sleep. Definitely those times. Now, all during the day for me, I do, but that's me. I'm not saying anybody else needs to do that. I'm just saying that you have to find a time that works for you, that carves out. Now, I'm not one of those people like that I hear that, the early bird gets the worm, and I'm up at 4 o'clock in the morning in meditation and all this stupid stuff. No, that's not for me. That's not the way I'm going to do it. And so you have to create the way you want to do it. Now, you can listen to all these different people, you can listen to, that guru and this guru and the other guru and all that stuff, but you have to really do things like you desire to do them. Really you have to set your own tone and set up your own life and decide how you want to do it. Because people will tell you to stand on your head and meditate and put your foot up in the air and hold one finger up and all these kind of things. And if that's not how you're built, you can't do that. You can't do it. So you have to decide, and you have to come to the conclusion and the knowledge that you know what's best for your body. I know what's best for my body. I know that I am not getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning to do a damn thing unless I have to go catch a flight. But that's not how I'm built, and I'm not getting ready to do all that, because more than likely that's probably about the time I'm going to sleep some nights. So don't get in in this space where, you want to hold on to some of these rigid things that people put out here, and that is something that I battle every day, because I have people coming at me wanting me to, get in this program, that program, and all these things. And right now, I'm not getting anybody's programs. I've got to do what I need to do for me, and I need to hear my voice. I need to hear the voice of spirit and not any others. I'm not in a place where I need to be having all this information inundated to me. And that's where a lot of people are, because you can be over consumers of information. And so for me, it's like, no, 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 no. Even some I have some things that I would like to learn, some programs I would like to do, but I'm taking my time and I'm spacing them out because I know where I am in my life, and I know the things that I'm dealing with, within me. And so, in order to keep myself from being overwhelmed, because I know how I can get overwhelmed. It's easy for me to get overstimulated, and I know this about myself, and so I have taken steps to shift that and to change that. And so that's what I'm talking about now. It's like, life is what you make it. You decide what you want to do. Yes, so and so said this is a good thing, and maybe it is, and it might be something that you would like to adopt. But if you're not doing that, if you're not getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning and running 5 miles and all this kind of stuff, like, I'm not getting up at that early, and I'm not running no 5 miles because I have had back injuries and different things like that, and that's not something I can do. It's not comfortable to me. I don't feel good doing it, so I'm not doing that. And that is where, I'm sharing, because I want everyone to get to that place where you decide what's comfortable for you and what you're going to do. Because there's so many different ways to do different things. They used to have a saying when I was growing up that it was many ways to skin a cat. Now, why anybody would want to skin a cat, I don't know, because I'm not going to eat the cat no way. But that was that was the saying. Many ways to skin a cat. So many ways to do things. And then I remember one phrase that I used to hear was, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Now that's another thing. I'm not going to be eating an elephant. Okay, whatever. But that is how you do it. And I could see that is the way that people describe, how you tackle a big challenge. You tackle it by doing one thing at a time. One thing at a time, one thing at a time. And so when you start to feel overwhelmed, think about how many things you are doing and dial it back. It's okay. It doesn't have to be tomorrow that you put whatever the thing that you're doing out. It doesn't have to be tomorrow. Just because you said in your mind, or you put out a post, or you said a thing, you can dial it back and say, hey, I wasn't in the energy for that. And I appreciated one of my teachers, one of my mentors, that said that we were taking a class. And she sent an email out, and she said, I'm not going to be able to do class tonight because, my energy's off. And I'd rather not, do something when my energy's off. And I appreciated that, because that makes sense. And that's something that I believe in, because if you are in a space where your energy is not right, like right now, I am super freaking exhausted. I'm not even going to say, and I feel it from the inside, and that's the thing. But I wanted to just come on here and share this because I know that if I am dealing with it, many, many other people are dealing with it, but right now, like I said, I am, I have been having some health challenges. And so one of them is this extreme exhaustion that hits me pretty much every day, some days not. And I had a few days where it didn't hit me, and I was so excited. And I was actually thinking, oh my God, maybe this is over, and maybe, I don't have to deal with this anymore. But it's okay. It is okay. What it has done is it has shown me how to dial back when I need to. How to take that step back and how to talk to people about it, because people don't understand. They look at me and they see my face and they're like, oh, she's fine. There's nothing wrong with her, blah, blah, blah. But no, I have some real issues going on with my health and inside of me. And so I am really at this place where I am taking time, and actually learning how to slow down some, because I actually am a person that likes to do things really quick and fast. My husband gets tickled, but I do. And I've always been like that all my life. I'm like, and so when I slow down and I dial it back, it helps me in a lot of ways that I didn't even realize, so I'm grateful, and I'm thinking that, and I'm thankful and grateful for this lesson that I'm learning through this illness. Yeah, my lips was feeling so dry. Okay. So all these things and all these lessons and stuff that I'm learning, from this time. And so I would advise you that as life starts lifing, and as you start really, really, really being in a place where, you might not know exactly what direction to go in, just take some time out. Take some breaths. Connect with the breath. Close your eyes. Center yourself. Take a deep breath. And out through the mouth. Releasing all of the negativity and any toxicity or anything that you feel in your body. Because one thing that I've learned is that also you can feel the negativity and the toxicity in your body. If you start really paying attention and really, really, really just feeling into, what's going on with you and how you feel and how you're affected in what ways. Because I'm telling you that your body will talk to you. Mine has been screaming at me. so I am listening, and I am hearing, and and I'm doing less doing, because sometimes that's the space we have to be in. And the thing about that is sometimes you got to be okay with that. Be okay with not doing so much. Be okay with feeling. Just be okay with being okay. And that is a space that is beautiful. That is a space that we all want to get to. So, um, what do you do when life starts lifing? I want y'all to tell me in the comments, because I just want to know, because I'm interested. As a spiritual teacher, one of the things that I love to talk to my clients about is really taking time and feeling in your body and feeling what it feels like. Feel what a no feels like to you. If somebody invites you to something and all of a sudden you're like, I don't want to go. Feel what it feels like in your body. Feel it. And for me, it hits me in my stomach or in my heart. So if I don't want to go, I'll feel something inside. And it's like, no, we're not doing this. So feel that and really begin to see how your body talks to you, and listen to the language that it speaks to you. Because each and every one of us have a language that our bodies speak to us. And it may not be the same as everyone else that you know, but we have a language that our body speaks to us. So begin to really, really, really dive in and see what that feels like. See what it feels like, when you are feeling fear. What does fear feel like in your body? What does that feel like? Because life is what you make it. So it's your decision to decide, what is life to you, and what does life look like to you. Release all the shame, release the tension, release the toxicity, anything that is in your life that is not for your highest good. Release it. It's time to let it go. Let it go and create the life that you desire, because life is what you make it. I always hear people saying it is what it is. And it almost rubs me the wrong way a little bit, because it's almost like you're settled for whatever it is. But whatever it is does not have to be what it is. It is what you make it, what you decide that it is. But we have been so conditioned to not decide and not think about our direction, and we think that because of the unconscious is conscious, that we called it fate, like Carl Jung said. But that's not true. That is not true. When you begin to really be conscious and really feel your body and listen to your body and hear what it's telling you, and also begin to interpret the language that it uses for us, y'all, it's going to change your life. It is a life-changing thing. So I would just want to share with you that listen and feel into your body. What is your body talking to you? What is it saying to you? Are you at the right job? Is the daycare that you're taking your kids to the right daycare? Even those type of situations, for me, because my children are grown now, but I remember when I had them in daycare, and this one daycare, I felt, some kind of way when I would take my kids to it. And what had to happen for me is my baby got a ringworm on his face, like right here. I never forget it. It was like right there, because I had to keep him home from school, of course, and I cleaned him up and got rid of the ringworm. I got some. I used this salve. It was a golden seal and comfrey salve that this herbal shop that I in a place where I lived at created. They made it, and so I put that on his face because all the other stuff wouldn't work. The Lotrasone wouldn't work, so I put that on his face, and it cleared it up. And so I cleared it up, and I sent him right back to school. Do you know that the very next week he got that same ringworm on that same spot that I had cleared it up? So that told me, now that was something that hit me, but that told me, even after I felt the feelings inside my stomach, in the pit of my stomach, that I need to be leaving my babies there. But that told me that it's time to take your child out of that place. They nasty. You didn't get it from home. We didn't have animals or anything like that. My house was clean, sometimes messy, but always clean. So I was like, okay. So I had to take my child out of that daycare. And I took my children out of that daycare, and I was able to, God is good, because I was able to find, I was so worried because at the time I was in nursing school and I didn't have anybody to keep my kids. My grandmother was busy. She was a pastor, and she just couldn't. She would have, and she actually did keep them. I think she kept him some of the days when he had the ringworm, because I didn't have anybody else, because I was in school and I couldn't take all those days off at that time, because at that time they were very strict. You couldn't miss, but I think you could miss one clinical, and that was it. You couldn't miss. You couldn't miss. They would kick you out, and they did. I had new people that they kicked out for that kind of stuff. So I couldn't miss. So I had, so my grandmother kept, I think, that one a few days so I could finish school. And then and so I was able to, so I was thinking, I was like, oh my God, I got to find a daycare, and it was amazing. God just dropped a daycare in my lap. And then the most blessed part was, it was under the amount of money that the state had given me to send these kids to daycare, because I didn't have a job. I didn't have, I just had two babies at the time. And my kids were 19 months apart. And so I had two babies. I had Irish twins almost. So, and I'd have, like I said, I didn't have anybody to watch them. It was just me. My husband actually went to school and he worked at the time. So it's just me. So I was thinking, Lord, what am I going to do about these kids? I gotta find a daycare, because I snatched them out. I mean, I literally told them when I picked him up and I seen that ringworm on his face again, I literally picked him up out of school, and said, I'm done. We're done. We will not be back. Took all their stuff, because they had little lockers or whatever. I took all their stuff and left. And then I thought, what am I going to do after that? Because this was Friday, and I think it was Friday, yeah. And I had to go back to school Monday. So I was like, oh God, what do I do? So all weekend I'm stressing. So I think I had talked to one of my teachers, and I told her what I was dealing with, and she said, "Okay, well, don't worry, just take this day and do that." And I said, "Okay." And so a daycare, I don't even actually remember how it happened, but it dropped in my lap, and it was a Montessori school, which was what I really wanted for my kids, and it was by your income. The most amazing thing that my kids loved about it was they gave them all the food they wanted, because the other daycare only would give them like little tiny little portions, and my children could always eat. So those little portions were never enough, and so they would come home starving to death. And I noticed that when they went to this place, they never came home starving. Most of the time they weren't even really hungry. So I thought, whoa. And then it was cheaper. The other place I had to actually pay over what the state gave me, but this place I didn't even have to pay. So I was so blessed and so appreciative of that. And my children got really good educations at that little daycare. I mean, they were really good, and I really loved it. So but that was something that I realized that I did not recognize at first, because I felt something earlier before that happened, but that actually was like the icing on the cake. I kind of was like, oh God, I need to do this, but I didn't have, but I think I had maybe 6 more months or so in school, and so I was like, I just need to, somebody so that these kids can, so I can finish school. But after that happened, I knew that that was the message that my body was sending me to get my kids out of that damn school. And so I did. So, I'm on a mission to help people to recognize, to really lean in and dive in and feel inside their bodies, how it feels when you have a decision to make, when something is happening in your life, when you are at a crossroads, when it's time to make a shift. Like that was for me. It was time for me to get my kids out of that school and put, oh my God, in another school. All right. So just make sure and you ensuring that you are, doing what it is that you need to do in order to feel into your body. And if you are having issues or problems with that, and you would like to have some support, reach out to me, send me a message or comment on the video. I try really hard to come back and answer the comments, but I do hold sessions for that. I have healing sessions. I also have mentoring sessions. Most of the time they're intertwined. Usually it is some type of mentoring as well as healing sessions. So I'm super excited about that. So send me a message or comment. And if you are watching me here, you can check me out also on TikTok, also on Facebook as well. So just really reach out to me in the DMs. I usually pretty responsive. I'm also on Instagram, but not very often. And LinkedIn, that's another place that I'm not very often. So thank you so much for hanging out with me today. There's something on outside my window, so I'm gonna get off. But I'll probably be back on again tomorrow, because this is day 1 of 30. I'm going to do 30 days of lives on here. So definitely join me for some more. We're going to talk about some other stuff. Like I'm going to do an Earth Star grounding exercise as well on here. Probably tomorrow I'll do it. But we're going to do that. We're going to ground. And so that is something that I'm loving. And I'm also going to share about the auras and the chakras. Tomorrow, you can join me on Eventbrite for embracing our spiritual gifts. And so it's going to be a little class, a workshop on the spiritual gifts, their related chakras. I'll have some exercises and stuff that you can have for that as well. So join me there. And the event Bright is the link, and I'll pop it in the comments. I think you can get links on here, but I'll pop that link in the comments in case you want to sign up and come and join me tomorrow at 3 p.m. Pacific time. 3 p.m. Pacific time for embracing our spiritual gifts. So again, thank you for hanging out with me. Make sure that you continue to follow me. If you scrolling by, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And then go through my content, because there's so much stuff there. I have almost 1,000 videos. And so I am super, super excited about what's going to happen as the rest of this year comes up, and next year is going to be phenomenal. So again, thank you so much for hanging out. Bye now.